Okay, this is part two. You may find it kind of weird that we're coming in on the Axis victory screen, and I will explain why as soon as we get to J3. US round two, they purchased one transport, two infantry, one artillery, an aircraft carrier, and a fighter. As I pointed out, from round one, I thought their buy was a little weird. Um, Honestly, probably this buy should have been their first buy, except with two transports here instead of one. Um, their combat was bombing me. They took Algeria because we had kind of left Africa by that point. We were dealing with some UK fighters and an infantry down here in Sudan. And then they conducted a battle in Libya as well with their tank. Uh, round three, Russia. 5 infantry, 4 artillery. Their combat was Sinkang, Archangel, in West Russia. Kind of standard, except for you wouldn't expect them to hit Sinkang. Usually you would think they'd be either setting up a stack in Kazakh or moving their guys toward Moscow. But nothing too weird. Germany 3. I bought 10 infantry, 3 artillery. Did a little bit of complex repair courtesy of some bombing. Combat was hitting Sudan to kill all this stuff because those fighters were just left there by themselves. I took West Russia and I took Archangel. And let's see. Yeah, so I decided in this turn to stack Archangel because I was going to be able to fly some Japanese planes from over here up to Archangel to make it to where they couldn't knock it out. And if I remember correctly, them moving a lot of stuff to the Caucasus here during Russia's turn was what allowed me to do this. Okay, UK 3. Purchased 2 aircraft carriers, a transport, and an artillery. I have no idea why you would ever buy 2 aircraft carriers as the UK. It probably should have been 1 aircraft carrier and maybe 2 transports. I mean, if you're wanting to go down this route, but ignoring troops in India is not a good idea unless you're losing India. Combat was West Russia and Burma. Kind of standard plays. And then here is why we have ended up coming in on an Axis victory screen here for the video. I'd had a call come in while I was setting up to do this turn, and when I alt-tabbed over, I somehow managed to skip my entire combat phase, and I had expected that even though the person I was up against was doing some weird things, that this might be enough to cause me to lose the game. And I decided to not continue recording at that point, but I continued to play out the game to see if I could squeeze out a victory. But at any rate, my purchase was 6 infantry and a tank with an industrial complex. The idea is just getting myself to full production, even though I was going to be a turn behind at that point as far as the Japanese economy growth. But as we can see here from the end board, I managed to recover that pretty quick. US 3, 4 infantry, 4 artillery, 4 transports, starting to see normal buys for America. Their combat was liberating Egypt, hammering France, which will be kind of a theme of this game. They hammered France multiple times, which, if you know what you're doing when you're playing Germany, this constant attack on France doesn't really work, because what you can do is like you can just pump out all infantry here and here, stack it in, bring over some Japanese planes, stack them in here, which was my strategy to combat this. Just borrow some Japanese air power and stack as much stuff in here as possible to make it to where if they do attack this, to try to wipe their attacking force in the first round of combat. The thing that sucked about this was we rarely managed to kill any of the planes from because like originally these two fleets here, the UK fleet in 4 and the US fleet in 8, they were both in the same sea zone 8, and they were just whacking France left and right. Okay. Round 4, Russia. 6 infantry, 1 artillery. Standard buy. Combat was West Russia and the Ukraine. Also pretty standard. Germany 4 was 3 artillery, 10 infantry. Some more complex repair, courtesy of the bombing that we had received. Combat moves. I took Vologda, Ukraine, and West Russia, and I stacked West Russia this turn, if I remember correctly. Yes, I stacked West Russia this turn. UK 4, they bought 2 transports, 2 artillery, and 2 infantry. I'm not even really sure what to think about this buy. Because they had like 5 transports after this buy, which kind of made no sense to me. I mean, usually the max you would go for is the UK is 4. Their combat was French Indo-Thailand, because I ignored Burma. And, well, not I ignored Burma. I accidentally skipped my combat phase. But, and they took Vologda back. Okay, J4. I purchased 12 infantry, trying to go for max production. We ended up being a couple short, but that's alright. Combat was a lot. We took a lot of undefended territories, and we took New Zealand, we took back French Indo-Thailand, and we took the Caucasus, so our economy was going pretty great at this point. US 4, 5 infantry, 5 artillery, and a transport. I suppose a pretty standard buy, although I would say they probably should have bought another transport. But it doesn't really matter because here in the ending board, almost all their transports are dead. And yet again, they hammered France. We actually did finally kill a fighter, which will be the only fighter we kill from all the times they attack France. But the dice were loving them. I calculated all these attacks that they did on France, and I lost between 3 and 5 to 6 more infantry than the calculator 50-50 battle average. It's a wonder they didn't somehow manage to win this game just because of that. Alright, round 5 Russia, 7 infantry. Pretty standard buy considering I have West Russia stacked at the time. Combat was Cossack and Archangel. Pretty standard. Germany 5. I bought 12 infantry and a tank. If I remember correctly, the idea behind this was I wanted to do all production over here because of the continuous hammering of France. So the idea was to just keep throwing guys in here to make this hold. Combat was, this is the turn I stacked the Caucasus. Just double check that I do stack the Caucasus here. Okay, no, this is not the turn I stacked the Caucasus. I must have had too few infantry to pull it off. I had to wait for reinforcements. Okay, UK 5. 2 more transports, 2 artillery, and 2 infantry. Okay. If you want to do that buy, that's fine, I suppose. Still not sure what the plan was because they ended up having 5 transports over here. They hammered France, and I don't really understand why they would do that. I had so much stuff there. It's just a miracle that I didn't manage to kill the planes that they had over here, which honestly they should have all died. And they took Burma back and took the Caucasus back. Okay, Japan 5, 11 infantry and a fighter. Reason we bought the fighter was because I was needing to send planes over to Germany to deal with the France problem. So I needed more planes in this side of the board in order to do my trading. So we started buying fighters. Combat was a lot. We took Hawaii and a lot of undependent territories. And at this point, our economy was doing insane. Like, Japan's on crack at this point. US 5. 3 artillery, a bomber, 3 infantry, and a tank. I mean, yeah, we were threatening the Western United States here, but I think they overreacted a little bit because I was only able to hit this with 3 units and I had no plane support whatsoever. So, and the bomber I'm not really sure what the plan was with that. I guess they were thinking about maybe going after some transports if I left them alone over here or something. Combat was, thank God this bomber was destroyed, but they bought a second one, so whatever. They took Northwestern, and they took the Cossack back, to be expected. Okay, round 6 for Russia. 5 infantry, 1 artillery. It's pretty standard. Combat was Karelia, because I kind of left it to stack the Kazakh, or I didn't leave it, but it was coming up. I was gonna be stacking Kazakh, but I just left this empty because I needed all my troops over here being deployed. There was no, I deployed 2 up here, and where France was just getting endlessly hammered. And I just didn't want to leave like an infantry or 2 by themselves up here to just be murdered by whatever. So it just seemed like a better play to just use all my money to produce over here and then put in France whatever I need. Okay, Germany 6, 10 infantry, a tank, and 2 artilleries. Yeah, we had a little bit of extra money, so we were able to buy a tank and 2 artilleries. Yet again, the full deployment plan was still here. Everything goes to Berlin and Italy. Combat is taking Archangel, northwestern Karelia and Caucasus. And if I remember correctly, this is the turn I do stack the Caucasus. Yes, it is. UK 6, 4 infantry and 4 artillery. Going all in on hitting France is apparently the plan with this buy. Combat is taking northwestern and taking back Burma. Pretty standard. Japan 6, where we had so many transports out here floating around taking stuff. I decided to buy 1 more transport in order to funnel all my troops on land, and then yet again another fighter, because as I was saying, we've been needing to send fighters over toward Europe to keep the Allies from capping France. Combat, yet again, pretty busy, taking lots and lots of areas. Took back Burma, Novorossiysk, Kazakh. Japanese economy is moving toward being on just a force to be reckoned with at this point. Okay, US 6, 5 infantry, 4 artillery, and a fighter. I suppose that's a decent buy. They took back Alaska, Italian East Africa, and they smashed France again. Didn't lose any planes, to my annoyance. But like I say, the dice just loved this guy. And if I remember correctly on this calculation, I was only supposed to lose like 6 infantry, I think. I ended up losing 10. Okay, Russia 7. Purchase is 6 infantry. Starting to smother them out. Starting to have some effect with that. Combat. Now this was a bullshit battle. So I ran this on the calculator before I finished the Japanese turn, and I had slightly above an 80% to hold this, and they absolutely just destroyed this. They ended up having, I think it was 2 artilleries and a tank with both planes left. But I think that might have been like that really helped get the board to where it looks, to be honest with you. This and a massive mistake that they did here that we'll get to shortly. Alright, so Germany 7. Our entire army has died in the Caucasus. We're struggling a little bit to keep France from falling, but the US is not at a full 6 transports every turn, smashing France, which is good. We bought 11 infantry and 2 tanks. As I've said, the idea of all money deployment going to here. Some stuff would have went to the Caucasus, but where Russia managed to take this back, very surprisingly, we were not able to do that, so we decided to buy 2 tanks. Combat was West Russia and Northwestern. Pretty standard, kind of what you would expect for the Germany turn in round 7. UK 7, 5 artillery, 3 infantry. Not this I don't understand. I'm not sure why they bought 5 artillery. Let me just look where they were deployed. I don't remember if there was like something left here, or no, there wouldn't have been, because this is round. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what was going on here, what was left, but it just seems weird to me that you would buy 5 artillery. They finally took Norway, which honestly I think this should have been done way sooner. I'm not even really sure why it took them so long to take both these territories. And then they took back Burma again, so sort of standard for UK. Japan 7 purchased 4 bombers, and so the idea behind this buy was during this turn I stacked everything I could stack into the Kazakh, because I kind of had 2 little sort of mini stacks, the one down here in Sichuan being a little bit bigger. I stacked those into the Kazakh, and I did a little bit of plane swapping over here during the German turn. I put two planes into France, and I think 1 into Germany, because France is more likely to fall than Germany was, as far as who can attack what. I left my Japanese bomber in France, and I'll explain to you why. I sent a screenshot of the Atlantic in before I did this, and this bomber had been here for a couple turns already, and they asked me why I didn't kill the 1 transport from the US that was sitting in 10, and I was like, why would I kill 1 transport in 10 when, if he's going to make the same mistake with 8 transports that are sitting in 10 for the next round? So I decided to play the waiting game to see if he would continue making that mistake and really put the hammer down. As Napoleon Bonaparte says, do not interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. So I decided not to interrupt their mistake until it was very bad. But anyway, yes, so we were setting up to take Moscow in round 8. That's the idea behind the 4 bomber buys. Combat, Egypt and Burma. Now, I took Egypt for one specific reason. You'll see there's a Soviet plane sitting here in Sudan, and they decided um, the round that I was going to take Moscow. They decided to use a Moscow plane to come down here and destroy this lone transport I used to drop off guys in Egypt. And I was very happy to see them do that. That's kind of the reason why I did it. I was hoping they would make me taking Moscow easier, which they did. Um, US 7. Transport a fighter, 4 infantry, 3 artillery. Okay, that's fine. They took Rhodesia and Northwestern again. Pretty standard, I suppose, for the United States. Russia purchased 5 infantry. Our smothering of them is getting to be very effective at this point. Combat was pretty much nothing because my stack here in the Kazakh had them pinned to Moscow. And so they only destroyed the transport. Germany 8. We had saw on the U.S. turn that we were going to be able to kill all the transports in 10, mainly because the UK had moved their fleet to 6 in the previous turn, which means they couldn't move anything to 10 because it was out of range. So everything was setting up perfectly for the VC snipe that we managed to pull off here, except for one slight thing that I was not expecting. Combat was the Caucasus in Northwestern Europe, so kind of standard for Germany, except maybe not the Caucasus so much. But yeah. UK 8, 3 artilleries and 4 infantry. Pretty standard. Took Finland, Karelia, Archangel, and West Russia, and Burma back. And they landed their planes in Moscow here. And I thought it was crazy that they destroyed my 1 infantry in West Russia and lost a fighter. So it's always funny when you see that happening. Japan 8. I purchased 9 tanks, and the UK did the move that I was not expecting. They pushed all their stuff out of India into Burma, which allowed me to take it because they only deployed 3 infantry there. I guess the thought process they were going with was I wouldn't be able to take India and Moscow in the same turn, but little did they expect that I was going to just pick up 6 infantry and an artillery here in 61 where all my transports were, bring it down to 35 and land it here with a battleship bombardment. And we managed to take it with 2 infantry and 1 artillery left. I was expecting fewer losses, but you can't really count on infantry to do anything. And our attack on Moscow went pretty good. I had expected that I was going to have to start sacking planes to make sure this falls to pull off the VC victory here, but we ended up not having to do that. And I attacked and killed 9 transports, 8 American and 1 UK transport here in 10. And honestly, I don't even know why there was a UK transport in 10 to begin with. I actually have a lot of questions after I played this guy. But at any rate, that was my Japanese turn. I had no issues screwing over my logistics for the simple fact that I had a 99% chance to take India, a 99% chance to take Russia, and so I didn't expect there to be another Japanese turn, so messing up my logistics was not very much of a problem. And the US, I guess, just ended their turn. Yes, they did. They didn't buy anything. And there's the final war report. Thank you all for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the game. I thought I had lost the game, but we managed to put all the pieces together, place things where they need to, do what we needed to do, and hold the territories with sufficient troops to win the game. All right. See y'all next time.